And the big news coming in, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statement at the BRICS Summit in Russia, and this is at the closed plenary session of the 16th BRICS Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says, and I quote it here, "We all have to be united and cooperate strongly to deal with terrorism and terror financing. There is no place for double standard on such a serious issue. We should take active steps to prevent radicalisation among the youth of our countries. And we have to work together on the pending issue of comprehensive convention on international terrorism in the United Nations." Huge, huge statement that is coming in. Remember, India, that has been impacted immensely because of the terror issues coming in, while of course from Pakistan, but as much from China. And therefore, at a time like this, and we remember as much, whether in West Asia, in the Middle East, across the world in different countries, there have been the concerns of not only terrorism, but radicalization of young men and women. And that is why India opting to talk straight, direct about the impact of terrorism and how the world has to unite and has to cooperate to deal with terrorism. This is very important. This is not about India or Israel or the Middle East or any other nation. This is about a global unity when it comes to fighting terrorism and terror financing. Look at the words that the Indian Prime Minister has chosen. It's not just about terror network or terrorism, but terror financing, where the money is coming in to fund these terror groups. Also adding, I quote it again here, "There is no place for double standard on such a serious issue," that you will have to take a stand as a country. Also adding that we all need to take active steps to prevent radicalization among the youth in our countries. We have to work together on the pending issue of comprehensive convention on international terrorism in the United Nations. So that's a massive statement that's coming in from India about specifically the terror issues. Remember, for example, even Israel maintains that this is a fight against terrorism and terror groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, backed by Iran. On the other side, India has been facing Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, not just in the Kashmir Valley or in Jammu region, but in different parts of the country, including the Mumbai terror attacks. Then there are, of course, also border issues and incursions by China. All of this talking straight and crisp on the international platform of BRICS Summit, of which India is a founding member, but which is also expanding. Remember, Middle East is very clear. Middle Eastern nations, and specifically the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, which are also reforming, increasingly modernizing, have also said that their fight against terrorism is very clear, and that in fact they stand with India on issues, that there need not be a double standard in this case. So the Indian Prime Minister making it very clear about the kind of strategy that the world needs to have, and that is not work individually as a country, but unite, cooperate and strongly deal with terrorism and terror financing. There is no place for double standards on such an issue, and we should take active steps to prevent radicalization among the youth. We have to work together on the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism at the United Nations. So to take in all the organizations globally to get together and to ensure that at this point, the fight against terrorism should not be as a burden on one nation, but a collective voice together globally. Our Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan joining me on the phone line on this. Geeta, this is a big statement because I find it very interesting that the focus for India has been terrorism and against terror financing, and how the world must unite on this.
Absolutely. This is, again, a call to all those who sit at the high table at the United Nations, saying that it does not work when there is no definition, no agreement or consensus on even defining terrorism at a time when India faces terror attacks almost on a very, very regular basis, Pooja. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighting that, talking about counter-terrorism and terror financing, but also exposing the world's double standards on such a serious matter, where no one country or no country, countries together cannot come on one issue, that is fight against terror and the active steps that need to be taken to stop radicalization of youth in various countries. Very, very important statement at a time when India is not only battling terror from across the border, but also radicalization and extremist movements in various countries, particularly in the recent past that we've seen the Khalistani movement gaining momentum in countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, including some parts in America, and certainly a matter of concern where India's interests and concerns have not been taken into account.
All right, so that's what, Geeta, that you're telling us about is very important. And remember, making it very clear about how BRICS is an organization willing to evolve with time. And we must collectively, united manner, raise our voice for reforms of global institutions, different, whether it's the UN Security Council, multilateral development banks, and the WTO. So it's a global voice that we need to become. And he also mentioned the G20 presidency, that India was hosting the Global South summits and more. And confident that in the times to come, Prime Minister Modi said, we will together make this unique platform a model for dialogue, cooperation and coordination.